QuickBooks Pro Plus Desktop 2022 Accounts Receivable Graphs. Get ready because we bookkeeping pros are moving up the hilltop with QuickBooks Pro Desktop 2022. Here we are in our free QuickBooks sample file, sample raw castle construction, going through the setup process with the view drop down, the open windows list, the company drop down, the home page, maximizing that home page to the gray area. Reports drop down. Let's take a look at that balance sheet. Company and financial reports, standard balance sheet. Changing the font size, going to the customized reports up top. Also going to change the range while I'm in here to 12, 31, 23. Fonts and numbers. Changing that font size to 14 for font's sake. Closing that up. Okay, yes please, and okay. Then we're going to go to the reports drop down again. Company and financial, profit and the loss, changing the date range, ending at 12/31/23. Customize that report by going to the fonts and the numbers. Font change to 14. Okay. Yes, please. Okay. So there we have that. I'm going to go back on over to the balance sheet in the open windows. We're going to be looking now at graphs that are in the QuickBooks. They give you these pre-set up kind of graphs, one of them being for the accounts receivable. Now note, we want to see what they have for us within the QuickBooks system with regards to these graphs. We'd also like to see it, and I would like to think about it as exporting the data to Excel, because you can create these graphs in Excel quite easily. We'll probably do that in a future presentation, and that gives you a whole lot more flexibility as to how you want the graphs to be, what you want them to look like. So, but in general, what we have here is we got the accounts receivable. The accounts receivable represents people that owe us money, customers that owe us money for goods and services we've provided in the past. We typically want to see the accounts receivable broken out by who owes us the money, by customers, and we can give a nice visual of that leads itself or lends itself to a nice pie chart kind of graph, because you can then break out the customers as pieces of the pie that would add up to the total. So let's take a look at that. We can find that by going to the reports drop down. We can go to the company and financial. To the customers and receivables. And in here, you've got your graph, the graph being right there. But you can also find it, and let's go to the report center to find it here, since this is the first time we've looked at it. Going into the report center, and on the left-hand side, let's maximize that report center. We've got then our customers and receivables again. And then we're going to be scrolling down. I'm going to close this item on the left. We're looking at this item here, the accounts receivable graph. Running the AR graph. There we have it. And then oftentimes if you open this, you might see the data look not that impressive. And that could be because you have the date range off, especially if you're working a practice problem, because it will default to the current date range. And you don't see the exact same date range items or options up top. But the dates are right here, and the dates, if you click on the dates, I'm going to make this as of 2024 actually, so 12/31/24 to make it more interesting, and then okay. So now we've got our current, our 1 to 30 breakout. This is how old. This kind of ties out to our aging report, which is nice. And then we've got our pie chart down below, which is giving us a nice colorful pie chart, which is broken out by clients, breaking out each of the clients, the total clients, adding up to that 93,007. So I can say, okay, from a visual standpoint, who owes us the most money? It looks like the green one, 15.6%, which is represented by this piece of the pie right here. So note that this is nice, and it gives you a quick look at it, but it's also severely limited. And just note that this pie chart, they gave this kind of pie chart that's actually got a 3D look, which is neat, but it also is distortive to your eyeball when you look at it, meaning this red one item here looks like it's way larger. It looks like it might be in the top, the top 4 or something like that, when in actuality it's beyond that, because it's closer to us and we've got this huge thing right here that makes it look bigger than it otherwise would. So this is one way that actually people deceive with numbers and pie charts and whatnot, is to use this kind of 3D look and then rotate the pie chart the way they want it to look, to either emphasize the big items or to de-emphasize the big items here. So that it's kind of a distorted look at it, although it's kind of a neat look. If you put this into Excel, which you could do quite easily, and we might do in a future presentation, you got a whole lot more range of things you can do with regards to the representation of the pie chart, the key, putting the numbers or the names actually in the pie chart if you so choose. This one chooses the top 10, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Everything else is dumped into other. You can have more or less than 10 if you do your own pie chart, if you make your own data as well. So also note that the options for printing up top, if I was to print this, I don't have the same printing options to save it as a PDF file. But if I've got that nice, cute PDF printer, I can print this to that cute PDF printer and use that printing option, which is nice. So I can then print it in that format as a PDF. So then you got the refresh item on the left-hand side. Let's compare the numbers to our report. I'm going to maximize this tab on the left. Let's go back down to the balance sheet and let's run the balance sheet as of the 24. Let's just change this to 24 because I did that. So that was the 93,007.93. That ties out to the report, the graph that we're looking at. Where did the graph go? Right here, 93,007.93 for the total receivables. And also remember that whenever you give a visual, especially in a presentation type format, be ready for someone to actually ask you about it and ask you and say, well, what is that 93,007? What is that? And we should be able to then tie it back out to the balance sheet and show where those numbers are coming from. So we get a nice visual and we can explain it if someone asks us questions about it. We can also take a look at another report, which is going to be the accounts receivable aging report. Let's take a look at that report center and say this is the AR aging summary, running that report. And then let's change this to once again 12/31/24 as well. So 1/31/24. So now we've got our data broken out by the current, which is the 8,309, the 48,426, and the 21, and so on and so forth. If we go back to our chart here, we could see basically these line item charts should coincide to those amounts as well. So if I go back, then the current items on that date, 8,309. So we go over here about 8,309. Again, it's a little distorted looking because they tried to give it that 3D look, which is neat, but it's a little distorted as well. But it gives us a good look. And then the 48,426 on 1 to 30 in that time range. So that's about the 50,000. And then we go here and say, okay, this 21,762 is about this item. So 21,762 and so on and so forth. So you got that look at it as well. And let's just consider these percentages on the right-hand side. If we get an idea of that, let's go back to our report center. And this time, let's just look at the accounts receivable by customer down here, just a customer balance summary report, running that report. And we could say, okay, let's change that one, customer balance summary from 0101, let's say 24 to 12/31/24. We're just looking as of that point in time at the end of 12/31/24, adding up to that 393,007. And if I was to take a look at, say, let's pull up a customer, a larger customer, pulling out the trusty calculator. Calculator, we need some calculations. Calculator to the rescue. We want to take a look at like a larger one here. Let's say we got this one that is Allard Robert. So that's going to be 14510 divided by the total, which is 93,007.93. That gives us, moving the decimal over, 15.6%. Going back to our graph, we've got the 15.6 represented by the green item. So those are where those percentages are coming from. Now, again, note that you can create this. If I go to this customer balance summary report, if I was to basically export this and just look at the balances, just take the balance data from it then I can use that to create a graph pretty easily in Excel and have a whole lot more flexibility to do with it what we want, which we might look at in a future presentations. Once you have this graph, you might say, how can I get that into like a presentation or something like that? You might say, let's open up another, like a PowerPoint, and you can use your screenshots to do that. So you could go, I want to insert like a screenshot, and you might say like, I want to just get the pie chart here, maybe grabbing that pie chart like so, putting it in here. Notice that it then limits it because now I got the white background on the black. Maybe I don't want that header, so I can crop that out. Maybe I crop that out and say I don't want that header. Get rid of that. And then maybe I want to get rid of the background by going to the picture, remove the background, and say I just want to see like the pie chart. So I'm going to mark as keep this, just the pie, like these items here, keep that, and get rid of that white background because I'm on a black background here. That's what I want to do. So then there we go. There we go. Something like that. Keep that one. Okay, perfect. So there it is. And then we can put our own header up top for what it looks like. And then I might want to clip like the key. And I might want to clip the key too. Say I need the key, like right there. Give me that thing. That's important. And so then we can make our own header. It gives us a nice little suggestions, but I'll just get rid of that. And then we can do our own little thing, which is nice, and that could give us our pie chart and our visual in a fairly quick type of way on a PowerPoint slide or something like that. I could put the header then up top, which is nice, but still. And then I could do the same for this chart. I could do, let's do the other slide and say, here's my aging breakout on this side, this one. Here's our aging breakout. Clip that one. I'll put a different header on it. So I'll just grab that information and I can put that one there. This one I might just want to put on a white background because it's more difficult to like remove the background. So I might just leave it like that. There it is. And I could put my own header up top on it. And that's not bad. That's not bad. But again, you can create this pie chart quite easily by exporting it to Excel and have a lot more flexibility with it. And so maybe we'll do that next time.